Om Shri Sai Ram. We begin today's session with three Omkars. Om. 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 Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering our most humble and reverential pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan. Respected elders and my dear brothers and sisters, a warm welcome to this Ganesh Chaturthi special of Samarpan. Today, we are blessed to have amongst us Shri Girish Atre. Shri Girish Atre was blessed to be a part of the first batch of the college at Puttaparthi. He completed his PUC and undergraduation from the year 1979 to the year 1984. Post receiving instructions from Bhagwan, he pursued his MBA from the Pune University. Shri Girish was the first college student permitted by Bhagwan to sing in Prashanti Mandir. He is actively involved in music and has been instrumental in creating musical content for all the dramas presented at Bhagwan's lotus feet during Ashadi every year. Apart from many devotional compositions for all Ashadi events, from the year 1998 to 2011, Shri Girish has also written and composed the 80th birthday choir song Soham Sai Om. Shri Girish has also written and composed many bhajans, including Nandadam Hari Govind Gopala and He Ananta Sahi Tumko Archan. Out of his passion to study spirituality in relation to quantum physics, he developed a musical presentation titled Quantum Signature of God, which he presented at Prashanti Nilayam in the year 2013 and was invited to make another presentation in the spiritual conference held at Prashanti Nilayam in November 2018. He continues his efforts to make the audience understand the science behind Swami's teachings through this musical presentation. Shri Girish started a trading business dealing in office equipments and consumer durables, and later got an opportunity to establish a biscuit manufacturing for Pale. The unit has manufacturing capacity of 100 tons per day. I would now request Shri Girish Atre to share his thoughts with us.
Thank you, Abhinav. Offering my most humble salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Lord, I would offer my sincere gratitude to him and thanks to all the organizers for having given this most honorable, prestigious opportunity to be on this platform and share my experiences and learnings with our Lord. We were just testing the Zoom settings before starting, and that time discussion was going on about the cricket match today at 7:30 between India and Pakistan, and that reminded me of our Maharashtra state level seminar which we had organized in 2018 at Shegao. The Maharashtra people would of course be familiar with it. So in that seminar, we had in fact designed a quiz, and one question in that was related to this India-Pakistan match. And the question was, if Ram and Rahim both are one, and if Pakistanis are praying for Pakistan to win, and Indians are praying to Ram for India to win, and if finally Ram and Rahim are one, so now that one God, will he be in a problem to whom to award the victory? And the answer came, options were provided, and the answer came that the team which is more capable and performs better, to that team, Ram and Rahim will award the victory. then we pose the next question, if the awarding or the reward has any way to go to the more capable and more performing people, then that will anyway go. Then what is the need of God in this case? If you are more capable and if you're performing to your best, the reward will automatically come to you. So where is the need for God in this case? And here is where Bhagavad Gita again gives us the answer. If your capacities and your actions are backed by selfish motives, then like Kauravas were led to act with their selfish motives, and that created injustice in the society. When that injustice starts growing beyond a particular limit, then the avatar has to intervene and perform his duty of protecting dharma. That is where the role of God comes into picture. So mere capabilities and mere performances do not complete the whole picture. Your intention to perform, that is the most important aspect in this universe. Again, the question arises, if God is the whole creator and he creates everything, then why does he create Kauravas at all? Why does he create problems at all and then comes to resolve the problems? See, this series of questions is not going to end, and this does have an answer. The very intention of my studying quantum physics and spirituality both in tandem was to find out an answer. If God comes to resolve the problems, why does he create the problems at all? So now I am trying to, my effort will be to narrate my experiences with Swami and link them to this question, so that my effort is to point out toward these answers. And with this background, let me now come to the beginning of 1971, when our family came into Swami's fold. So when our family came into Swami's fold, it was, of course, there is a background to that also. My father was a lawyer, and he was a very successful lawyer from 1952 to 1964. But in 1964, he met with a terrible accident, and his vertebral column was terribly affected. His legs were injured, and from 1964 to 78, he probably underwent about 20 and odd operations. And it was hell. Every year, about 3 months, he used to be admitted in Bombay hospital. We were a family from Sholapur, from a small city like Sholapur. I have my elder brother and elder sister. So my mother had to look after them also. She had to attend my father in hospital also. And with this background, what had happened was his kneecap was terribly injured, and it used to slip every time he used to walk. To walk for 3-4 minutes, it used to stay okay. Then again, it used to slip. Again, he might walk about 3-4 steps, and again it might slip. Then someone has to bring that kneecap up, again locate it. Again, he could walk. And that was maybe 50% of the problem. His backache and these two vertebrae were removed, and so many other complications, constant pain. And with all this background, he was somehow trying to manage our family affairs and the money and everything. And during that time, one devotee came as a client of my father, and he was quite bent upon my father visiting Swami. And my father said, "Arey Baba, look at my halat. See, I can't even walk properly, and you are asking me to travel." So he said, "See, Vakil Sahab, aap Puttaparthi ka baad mein sochiye. This month of May, Swami is coming to Mumbai. At least come to Mumbai." So my father said, okay, fine, I'll come to Mumbai, but I cannot, he described the Dharmakshetra campus. So my father said, will not be able to walk, climb anything. I'll just stay on the road. I'll just sit in a chair. You go have a darshan, and from road itself, if I can have a darshan, well and good. I think that should be it. So somehow my client took my father with one or two assistants to Dharmakshetra, and on the road itself, my father was sitting in a chair, and my client, our father's client, went inside for darshan, and on that day, Swami straightway came from inside to on the road. He just lifted my father's pant to the knee level, created vibhuti, and applied it on my father's knees. And he said, "Get up, walk." And that was it. That kneecap was fixed, and my father was able to walk. He walked up. Swami took him up, and you know how it happens in the first interview. Almost, I mean, many of us have experienced that uh, omnipotent omniscience of Swami. When he starts speaking to you, he narrates all your life history, what you were, what your problems have been, and then he assures you of everything, everything, everything. So he assured my father, "Ki now you do not worry, I am with you." And at that time, uh, see why the the point where I began was, he, if an avatar comes to resolve the problems, why does he create the problems? So my learning from this experience is that, Swami told my father, he dekho, see, this, his kneecap was fixed and 50% of his problem was resolved. Swami tells him कि मैं तुमको क्योर क्या 1 मिनट में कर सकता हूं, लेकिन इस जन्म का जो है वो इस जन्म में ही खत्म करो. So this is the learning which I want to bring to everybody's notice. कि if we have a question कि whether an avatar has the divine powers, which all the rationalists would have, so that question is answered. We have n number of experiences. So many of us have so many of experiences wherein the divinity of the avatar has been manifested. It has been demonstrated. And this fixing the knee cap of my father was one such experiences where no human could do this, no doctor could have done this. And this is the expression and manifestation of Swami's divine power. So my way of looking at it is, if Swami can perform this miracle, then he can perform any miracle. So the one part is that Avatar has the power and he can, if he wishes, he can do anything. And the reason why he is not doing that reason we need to contemplate upon it. And if we don't get to the answer, just believe him, because he has showed you. That is why he might be uh, mentioning every time that miracles are my visiting cards. So he's demonstrating that he can do anything, and at the same time he is not curing you of 100% problems. So why he is doing that? He wants us to do something. He has some role in his mind, and we need to understand what he wants us to do. That is the learning which I draw from this experience. So on one side, we know we have been fortunate in. I mean, that is why, why we should consider ourselves fortunate is this, because we are the ones who have directly witnessed his divinity. There is so much of population apart from us. See, population wise, we might be 1% of the whole population, not even 1%, and the rest of the 99% population who has not physically come into Swami's contact. They have not got an opportunity. They have not got a chance to witness Swami's miracles. And We are the ones who have witnessed Swami's miracles. So we know that divinity exists. And once we know that divinity exists, our faith in the ultimate reality, the ultimate divinity of that reality, that gets endorsed, that gets consolidated, that gets strengthened. Because whatever science I have studied, whatever science and spirituality and quantum physics and all that, whatever I have studied, I have learned one thing, that it is very difficult to develop that kind of faith. Science also, see, the classical physics till the time of Newton and Einstein, that physics has actually been denying the existence of God. Quantum physics, at least it is pointing towards the existence of God. And it is quantum physics which is, by pointing its existence towards God, it is actually strengthening our faith that God exists. And ultimately, till now, there has been no other way to proceed in life than to have faith in God. Unless one has the faith that God exists and God wants us to do something, we must understand what God wants us to do. That is the only way. If we understand what God wants us to do, and if we do that, that is the only way life can be led. That is what I have come to a conclusion. And for that faith, it is extremely difficult to have that kind of faith just by itself. And every time there are n number of occasions wherein that faith will be shattered. And in that context, I consider ourselves so much fortunate, because to strengthen our faith, uh, see, I consider myself a very weak-minded person. So I always seek support, to face any situation. And in such a fickle-minded situation, if I remember all Swami's miracles, my faith gets consolidated. So it's so important that your faith gets consolidated, and that is how I uh, look at Swami's experiences. Of course, those experiences are uh, two types. In my opinion, those experiences I can classify into two types. One is the miracle kind of experiences, and other are the parental love kind of experiences, which all the college students have experienced. So, more or less, when I look back from 1971, my father has been very fortunate to have these kind of miraculous experiences. So 1971, when he got this first experience of fixing his kneecap, uh, he started coming to Puttaparthi, and then he started taking part in the Samiti activities in Sholapur. And then 1972, he went again. Swami gave him 3 interviews. By the way, I think my father must have had about 200 interviews in his whole association with Swami. And from 1971, 72, 73, he was getting into Swami's activities. And of course, he had instantly developed that faith in Swami. And but apart from faith in Swami, he was entertaining a doubt as to whether Swami is really an incarnation of Shirdi Sai. Because he always used to wonder, so he used to listen to Swami's discourses, and in that he used to always listen to Swami, that Swami himself declaring that he is an incarnation of Shirdi Sai Baba. So those first 2 years of his association with Swami, 1971 to 73, he was always entertaining a doubt in his own mind about Swami being an incarnation of Shirdi Sai. And that time came the Gokulashtami of 1973. And 1973 Gokulashtami time, he went to Puttaparthi, and my brother was also there. And Swami gave them interview. And in that interview, Swami just moved his gown to this point, did his hand like this, and just shook it, and a golden frame appeared in Swami's hand. I'm just holding another phone, and I'll just try to show that frame. See, here is the frame. I don't know whether anyone can see that. Yeah, I
Yes,
hope.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
This is the frame Swami created for my father, and this is the golden frames. It is still kept in my house at Cholapur. And then Swami said कि देखो ये शिरडी साई है और ये परती साई है, दोनों को वर्शिप करना. So see, this is another instance where Swami is manifesting his divinity, his omniscience, his omnipresence, and that he knows everything. So uh, the doubt in my father's mind was removed. At the same time, my father had to undergo quite a few operations, and uh, every operation was a major operation. And he used to ask Swami, now abhi doctor is saying ki abhi this operation will have to be done, that operation will have to be done. And every time Swami used to tell him ki yes, ye operation mat karo, ye karo, wo mat karo. So see the two aspects of the divinity. Ki at one point he's performing miracles, another point he's telling ki I can cure you 100%, but ye janam ka ye janam mein hi khatam karo. I think that's one sentence is a great lesson for all of us. Ki there are so many janmas, and probably one has to travel the path continues for n number of janmas. Probably that is the learning which I derive from that one sentence of Swami. And what is to be experienced, what is to be uh, experienced as your bhoga in this month, in this janma, Swami wants you to finish that. And probably there seems to be no shortcut to that. So this is what he wants us to learn. As an avatar, it is his leela that he creates the whole thing. He creates the problems also, he creates the solutions also. And through that, probably he wants us to learn something. He wants us to grow stronger, to perform and to experience the divine bliss. That is the learning which I take from this experience. This way, it came to 1979. In 1975, again, every year we used to go, every year Swami used to be so kind and so gracious that he used to grant us minimum 2-3 interviews. And one interview he would say ki हाँ abhi kal bulata hai. Then the next day he would not call, he would not look at us also. Then all of us used to cry. Then again the next day he used to call us. And in 75, what my parents had decided ki they would get my thread ceremony done at Swami's hand. I mean, they had desired that way, and they decided ki all of us, all our relatives and all, about 16 of us, would go to Prashanti Nilayam, and with an intention that Swami is going to perform my thread ceremony. And in case he does not, then we will go to the mandir outside and we'll perform the thread ceremony by calling some local pandit. We went to Puttaparthi 1975, and my grandmother had also come. So Swami called my mother and grandmother for the interview. And my mother told Swami, we want you to perform my son's thread ceremony. So then he called us the next day, 9 o'clock. He had informed everybody concerned. So before darshan itself, we went and sat at the place where all the people who were called for interview, they sit at that place, all of us sat. Then he took us inside, then he gave a discourse on thread ceremony. He created the Janu, that thread. Then he initiated me with the Gayatri mantra also. And then he talked to each unit of our relatives personally inside the interview room. So that was the first individual experience for me when I was small. I was probably in sixth standard. I was in the sixth standard in 1975, and of course, about the discourse, I did not understand much of the discourse at that time. But I was thrilled at the whole event and Swami creating the thread for me, the sacred thread. And so this was another experience where we could see his love and also his miraculous power. And that's how the whole time was passing. And in 1979, when I had finished my 10th standard, after the exams, during the vacations, we came to Puttaparthi. And that was the year, that was the first time Swami did not look at us for 8 days. Just did not look at us. And finally, the day of uh, return came. We could not hold ourselves. All of us started crying. And then in the evening, we decided, okay, we'll take a chance on the next day and then leave. Next day, somehow me and my brother got the first line in the devotees. And Swami came, and somehow I could not hold myself. I just got up on my knees and I said, Swami, I want to join your college. So Swami said, okay. He, of course, physically knew my brother very well because right from 1972, he had personally been calling my brother to attend the summer course, and my brother had attended 5 summer courses from 1972 to 1977. In fact, there was a restriction that one cannot attend more than 3 summer courses, but Swami used to allow my brother to come. And then he told my brother ki isko Vrindavan leke jao. So the same day we split. My father and mother came to Sholapur, and me and my brother went to Vrindavan. Mr. Narendra was the principal, and we went and met Mr. Narendra, and he said, how come Swami told you all this? The admissions in Vrindavan are over. So we came back to Puttaparthi. Again, next day Swami came and Swami asked me, kya ho gaya? Admission ka kya ho gaya? So I said, Swami, Vrindavan admissions are over. And then he said, okay, kitna percent mila hai? So I said, Swami, abhi tak results nahi aaye. तो फिर कैसा एडमिशन मिल सकता है? अभी जाओ, शोलापुर जाओ, रिजल्ट आने के बाद आ जाओ. So after 1 month, the results came, and then by the time the Puttaparthi College was already in a position to start, and then Swami gave instructions to those concerned administrative in charge that I should be admitted in Puttaparthi, and that was the first batch. Even some lecturers from Vrindavan were asked to join Puttaparthi, and they knew my brother very well because of summer courses. Anup Jalani was there, Nityanand was there, and Sudarshan was there, Mr. Sudarshan. And so Mr. Sudarshan knew my brother very well. Anup Jalani also knew my brother very well. So they told ki, Swami has asked your brother to join Puttaparthi College. So you just let us know whether he would like to join the science stream or the commerce stream. Accordingly, we will do all the necessary procedure. And then all of us were staying in that East Prashanti halls, all the 3 halls, because the hostel was not constructed. Hostel was not ready by that time. And the college started. Then in the college, every morning bhajan started. And then we were asked whether who would like to sing bhajans. And then I gave my name for that. Then I was also selected in the college bhajan singer list. And it all started. Then apart from bhajan, in school also I had been involved in music activities, and I thought ki, apart from bhajan, I think I should do something more. And that time in Puttaparthi, the PUC and the first year, both batches had started. The first year, second year, and third year of graduation. and the 11th and 12th, that is PUC first and second year, out of which the PUC first year, 11th standard, and the graduation first year, these two batches they had started. And for the first year batch, Swami had asked about 20 students from Vrindavan who had completed their 12th standard. Swami had asked those 20 people to join Puttaparthi so that they can guide all the others for uh, following all the Swami's discipline, norms, everything. So they used to guide us as to how what a student is expected to do and how he's expected to behave as a Swami's college student. Out of those 20 students, there are 4 students who were doing the room duty, and one of them was from Assam. His name was Deka, and he used to play guitar. So I asked him, ki, I also would like to learn guitar. So, so he said, okay, I can teach you. You just get your guitar because my guitar is in Vrindavan, he said. And you get your guitar, I'll teach you. So I said, okay, then I wrote letter to my father, ki, can you purchase a guitar for me? My father wrote back, yeah, I have purchased a guitar for you. Then that day evening darshan, I got up on my knees and said, Swami, uh, and Swami, when I got up, Swami came and started listening to me. And I said, Swami, I want to learn guitar and I have written a letter to my father and my father has already bought the guitar. So can I go to Sholapur and get that guitar? Swami said, who will teach you? I said, Swami Deka will teach me. So then Swami said, Swami just paused for a while and then Swami said, देखो तुम शोलापुर जाएगा ना तो शोलापुर जाने के लिए 2 दिन लगेगा, फिर आने के लिए 2 दिन लगेगा, फिर अब तुम शोलापुर घर जाएगा तो 2 दिन तो रहेगा ना, तो फिर पूरा 1 वीक पूरा जाएगा। अभी कॉलेज नया शुरू हो गया है, कॉलेज में अपना होमवर्क है, हर मंडे को अपना टेस्ट है, या एवरी मंडे वी यूज्ड टू हैव टेस्ट्स। तो स्वामी सेड हर मंडे को अपना टेस्ट रहेगा तो तुम पढ़ाई भी तुम्हारा मिस हो जाएगा, फिर टेस्ट में अच्छा नहीं परफॉर्मेंस आएगा, तो फिर काय को जाता है। See, I was like this, कि what is the need for Swami to explain, to give such a kind of explanation? He could have just said ki, nahi re Baba, don't go. We'll see what is to be done. Or let your parents come. When they come, let them get the guitar. You start learning from that time. He could have said anything. All of you know what could have happened and what happened actually. So I was okay. I said, fine. I mean, I was thrilled that Swami is talking so long to me. But the things did not stop there. At that point of time, the darshan was over, bhajan was over. Swami went inside, and you all know, I mean, at least from the 80 to 90, 95 batch people would have heard about Rupak Chankakoti. Others would also know about Rupak. So Rupak ji used to stay with Swami in Vrindavan, and I think that time he was doing his PhD in physics. But he was staying with Swami. And you know what Swami does? Swami, here in Darshan, Swami tells me, don't go to Sholapur, and with all that parental explanation, so much of love. And inside he goes and books a trunk call to Vrindavan. And Rupak was supposed to come to Puttaparthi in the next 2-3 days. So Swami calls Rupak ji and tells him that while he comes to Puttaparthi, he should get that Deka's guitar. So look at this. And Rupak ji actually got that guitar, and Swami gave it directly to me. You can just imagine what would be the feelings of Deka. Deka's guitar, Swami gets it from Vrindavan through Rupak ji, and he gives it to me. And then I started learning. And after 2 months, when my father got that guitar from Sholapur, then I asked Swami, ki Swami, abhi, what to do with this guitar? Swami said, no, you give it back to Dika. So now look at this experience. This is totally the other kind of experience of that parental love and care and concern for you as a child. You know, on one hand, what was the need for him to talk so much to convince me, as if he wants to convince me ki better don't go. Well, he could have just said better don't go. But what was the need for him to convince so much? And at the same time, you know, it's like he has taken that responsibility. He's now I have told my child that better don't go. Sorry. So he has taken that responsibility that I have told my child not to go. So I will fulfill his wish. And he brings the guitar. So this is at the same moment, you know, it shows the outflow of his love, his compassion, his love for his children, his students. And that is the physical level experience, which I think all quite a few of our students have gone through. Everyone has his own uh, type of experience with Swami as uh, a loving parent. By this time, you know, this was when he came from Vrindavan to Puttaparthi. Before he came from Vrindavan to Puttaparthi, and that particular month, it was must be something like August or so. He had sent a message to the chemistry professor, Mr. Kiran Patel, at that time. Mr. Kiran Patel was a chemistry professor, and he used to sing also. So he used to look after all the bhajan singing in the college. So Swami had sent a message through him that me and two other people should start singing in the mandir. So that was the golden experience and a thrilling moment for me. Swami has sent a message. I should start singing in the mandir. And as all of us would have had, you know, after that message came and we started singing in the mandir. After that, when Swami came actually from Vrindavan to Puttaparthi, on the first day, he came into mandir when I started singing. That was a personal experience for me. People might call it a coincidence, but it was a personal experience for me. It was a personal recognition, in my opinion, that yes, I am there with you. I am looking at you. Yes, don't worry. So this was the bhajan experience, and then the guitar experience, and it just continued. So 1979, 1980 came. 1980 November was the World Conference, and during the World Conference, you know, the atmosphere had already started building up, and at that time, uh, one evening, I suddenly felt like composing that bhajan, and I composed the first bhajan in my life was that Nanda Nandana Hari Govind Gopal. And of course, that time it was never as if, you know, we would be all sitting together and deciding the list of bhajans, and it was not that uh, systematized. We used to just go and tell whatever we used to sing. I mean, whatever we wanted to sing. And I said, I would be singing a new bhajan today. And that was November 1980, evening time. And every day there were never mics set up for bhajan. But during the World Conference time, the mics would be set up. And that was the time when the mics also were set up. And I introduced this bhajan for the first time uh, in 1980 November. Swami was inside. Sometime later he came, then he sat for 2, 3 bhajans. He took the aarti and went. In the night, dinner time, the warden came to me and warden said, Swami has liked your bhajan because when you started singing, he was inside and he was talking to us and he suddenly stopped and said, who is singing? Then I said, Swami, Girish is singing. Yeah, yeah, very nice boy, very nicely he sings and all that. Is a very nice bhajan also. So, you know, uh, all these dialogues, what I gather for me is that he caught that point that this was a new bhajan and he immediately showed his awareness of that. Not that, he's omnipresent, omniscient, but as a physical person, the way he exhibits his love, his awareness, his alertness, that is a lesson for all of us. And that is a lesson which all of us have had through various different kind of experiences. So uh, this was another experience, and it was a solace. You we know how Swami is divine, how powerful he is, what an avatar he is. But these are the small instances which take you further, which take you from one step to the next step. They consolidate your faith. They re-energize you. It is like charging your mobile. So you need constant charging. As a human being, we constantly need that charging. And that is how he provides you this charging. And in so many unique ways, so many unique ways. I'm sure everyone else who would have shared his experiences of charging himself or consolidating his own faith, he would have had some other uniqueness in his experiences. So this is the uniqueness of Swami, in which he administers that faith, that strength to you in his own unique ways, in his own loving ways. And this recognition for Nandanandana was one of them. This continued till 1983. In 1983, this Satyasai University was formed. And Satyasai University, I mean, the institute was given that uh, deemed university status. And again, a typical Swami experience, it was Diwali time, and the convocation was going to be in November, 22nd November. And Diwali time, our exams were, midterm exams were just approaching. And then Swami comes into the Mandir hall and asks the music boys, कि हाँ सबका holiday में क्या plan है? And all of us could sense that there is something going to come, and all of us kept quiet. No one said anything. No one said I am going and I'm going home and all that. All of us kept quiet. And then Swami said, हाँ convocation है, नवंबर में convocation है, तो music program करना है. And then he said कि अभी दिवाली holidays में आप सब लोग मेरे साथ वृंदावन चलो, वृंदावन में 15 दिन रुको, वहाँ पे प्रैक्टिस करेंगे और कॉन्वोकेशन में प्रोग्राम करना. So we were relaxed and we were happy that we passed the test. And of course, all of us would have gone through such kind of tests also. So it was again a fantastic experience to travel with Swami to Vrindavan, and then in Vrindavan hostel, we were staying in Vrindavan hostel, and every day 9 to 10, Swami used to come and attend the practice session. Swami used to uh, give so many kinds of inputs regarding music, regarding the lyrics and the songs, the selection of songs. Then he used to explain the meaning of these songs. Then he used to narrate some stories of those composers, because those composers were all saints, who had composed all those devotional numbers. And I was given the role of uh, playing the keyboard. And the keyboard which I was playing was an old kind of thing. And one day, it just stopped playing. It just could not produce any sound. So I just folded my hands and I just sat. And Swami looked at me and said, why you're not playing? I said, Swami, this keyboard is not working. So Swami said, okay, fine. And then within a time of, span of 3-4 days, uh, a new keyboard costing 45,000 comes for practice. So just imagine, even right now when I'm just narrating this, I'm remembering this that keyboard comes and it is there before me and I'm playing that. And I just remember myself getting stunned and just getting stunned that what Swami does and what feeling he has for us, what feeling he has. Just remembering that, you just get overwhelmed. I sometimes, even now I feel I may run out of words, because those memories are such memories you just feel ki, yes, that is it. In fact, that sometimes you feel ki that is the end of it. You have got moksha. It's such a kind of memory and such a kind of experience. Is ki what more you want the Lord to do for you. And then that whole practice continued. One day, I think it was a Thursday, 9 o'clock, Swami came. Swami said, today no practice. And then he gave 100 rupee note to each one of us, and then said, Ki, see, I have arranged a vehicle for you, and all of you go to Bangalore city. So have a nice time. And then he suggested 3-4 hotels also. He said, go to only these hotels, one of these hotels, and have lunch. They serve good food. Have a nice time, and then come back by about, say, 5 o'clock. Come back. So we all got into the vehicle, and it was a Matador, and we went to Bangalore city, then MG Road, and all that. That was the first time I was seeing any big city, for that matter, because I was always confined to Sholapur. Some uh, occasionally I had been to Pune, uh, but as a big city, Bangalore, I was witnessing that bigness of that city for the first time in my life. So I also got lost on that MG Road and Suksagar. We had some food and all that. But all of us, not only me, all of us lost sense of time. It was a bit late in the evening when we realized that we should start back now, and we started back. And on the way, now see, Whitefield and Bangalore, 14 kilometers, but somewhere midway, another vehicle crossed us from Vrindavan. We could recognize that it is from Vrindavan, and they also waved at us and asked us to stop. And then someone from that vehicle got down. Our two, three boys from our group also got down. And that person told us, Ki Swami is so worried. Swami is waiting for you. Swami is worried and asking why these boys have not come. Where have they gone? Are they okay? And all that. See, on one side, all of us know the miracles of Swami. We all know he is God. We all know he's an avatar. We know his divinity. And here is he getting worried like a mother. At least, mother, when I think of any mother, I can relate her worries, especially to a daughter. If I have seen so many mothers getting worried about their daughters, or if their daughters go for some event, college event outside, and if they don't return by 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the night, mothers get worried. But I have not never seen mothers getting worried for boys. And here is a mother, here is a divine mother who is getting so much of concern and so much of worry that his boys, his students are not in the campus. Probably that would have been about 6 o'clock or so. And this 6 o'clock is not a big time. All of us can understand that. 6 o'clock is not a big time, but Swami was getting worried. Now, what would you call this? See, again, I run out of words to describe what is this, So we are seeing both the aspects of our Divine Mother. On one side, she can cure you of anything. At the same time, the avatar tells you that though I can cure, I will not cure because you have to go through all this experience. On the other side, he gets worried if you don't return by 6 o'clock. And then finally, when we came inside, then 2, 3 of us, Swami called them, and then uh, they must have explained what happened. And so this is another experience of his physical proximity and his parental, not just parental, I would say, his motherly love. A divine mother, you can see all the aspects of the care, concern, and love of a mother in these 2, 3 experiences. This continued. The convocation program was beautiful. Uh, People liked it. Swami liked it more than anything else. And even then, even at that particular program, uh, there was one particular piece of music, and there was a xylophone also, and there was a keyboard also, and uh, somehow, uh, there were two keyboards. I was playing one keyboard, then there was another student by name Neil Lloyd. He was playing another keyboard, and there was a xylophone which he used to occasionally play whenever the xylophone pieces were required in the songs. And for one song, uh, I don't know what, somehow actually, what he suggested, Neil suggested, hey Girish, in this song, why don't you play both of them? And uh, it was such a piece ki, uh, for say 8 beats, I was required to play the keyboard. Immediately, I was required to play the xylophone. And immediately again, the next 8 beats, I was required to play the keyboard. Since he suggested me ki I should, why don't I play this way? I said, okay, I'll play that. So the 8 beats, I played the keyboard. The next 8 beats, immediately I shifted to the xylophone and played the xylophone. Immediately I put those sticks on the xylophone and shifted. And that was a circus, But I did it. I could do it by Swami's grace. But I tell you, immediately I finished the piece and I looked at Swami, and Swami is looking at me. Personally, this was more than sufficient for me. Whether I treat it as a coincidence or Swami's deliberate assurance to me, yes, whatever you are trying to do with the intention of pleasing Swami, I am there with you. I am looking at you. And this is the message. This is the assurance Swami has given every student. I am sure every student has got this kind of assurance from Swami sometime in his college life. At least once he must have got this assurance. And it is this assurance, it is his loving assurance that you do what I want you to do. I am with you. I am looking at you. He just does not say this, he does this. And with so many students and so many occasions, look at his look at the spectrum and expanse of his physical capacity also to remember each student, to relate to him at the point where he is required to be related, and connecting with him, assuring him just by his mere looks, just by his mere creation of vibhuti, maybe sometimes by his talking, and so many other experiences. So this is how I take the learnings from experiences. As I said in the beginning, I divide these experiences into miraculous experiences and the physical level experiences. The miraculous experiences manifest and express his divine power. At the same time, they give you an indication that this is just to strengthen your faith in the divinity. Your faith should be strengthened, and with that faith, you just do what I want you to. Maybe it's a Namasmarana, Narayan Seva, Sevadal activity, or Bal Vikas activity, or study circle, whatever it is. It should be our faith that we are going to reach our goal of life through doing what Swami has told us to do, and to regain, to consolidate, to strengthen that faith. He gives us these experiences of miracles. On the other side, he gives you the day-to-day inputs and the assurance that he is there for you with all his abundant love for you to march ahead step by step, again consolidating your faith, again consolidating your relationship with him. See, as a human being, it is like a waterfall. The water is always going to fall down only. So as a human being, you are always going to be pulled down with the gravitational forces, not just physical gravity, but mental gravity also. So as a human being, it is the human nature to go down, sink down, and there it is he with that pump. He's always pumping you up. That water, he's pumping you up. So these are the two kinds of experiences which I have had in my life. And this is how I relate to them. And I have tried to share my learning of these experiences with you all. So I hope I have shared uh, the maximum which I could in this session. And with this, I think I would like to conclude and throw open this session to any questions if anyone has, and then conclude the session.
So, brother, first of all, I would like to thank you for the experiences you shared. Like, what are the key takeaways which everyone would have? What I could take from this session was the omnipresence of Bhagwan. That wherever like you told your father incident or even your incidences, that Bhagwan is always there with us. We just need to realize that he's just behind us, and
Yeah.
as always he's take one step toward me, I'll do 100 steps towards you. So I think that was the message which you were, through your entire talk you have shared with us, that he's always there with us. We need to just take that one step, and we are all his dear ones.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I'm just waiting if any questions, and then I can just we can just
Oh,
start
yeah,
with it.
yeah. Meanwhile, I would also like to share my another bit of my conclusion. I could say, ki when we say we are fortunate to have Swami as our, uh, I mean, we are fortunate to be in his physical presence. Uh, my studies in quantum physics and the spirituality, how they endorse this, because the in a very nutshell, if I want to describe what is quantum physics, I would just narrate the principle of Vedanta. Vedanta, in short, it says ki if you compare this universe to a pot, then Vedanta says ki if there is a pot, there must be a potter who makes this pot. If you compare this universe to a chair, then there must be a carpenter who makes the chair. The classical physics, like the Newtons and Einsteins, the physics of their times, they say ki okay, you compare the universe to the pot or the chair, but unless we see the potter or unless we see the carpenter, we will not believe that a carpenter exists. In the eyes of classical physics, they say that this universe has come into existence just by itself, just by chance, just by accident. The creation of this universe is an accident, and living here is by necessity. It is just that it is required, it is your social inevitability to be good. Given a choice, you will not be good. You would like to rule the world. You would like to be Kauravas. Given a choice. That is what science implies it. But fortunately, quantum physics is now coming to a point that it is now saying that if the universe is a pot, then there must be a potter. Quantum physics is saying that there must be a potter. It is not showing the potter, but it is now come to a point that there must be a potter. So there must be a maker of the universe. That is what quantum physics is pointing out. Now the point comes ki, if there is a creator, then there is a purpose for the universe. What is the purpose of the universe? We all still do not know in its totality. But if quantum physics is pointing out that there is a creator, then the universe is not just by an accident, universe is by some purpose. And if we have to know the purpose, I must say we are fortunate to have Swami physically with us, who knows the purpose of the universe, and he is directing you to do what you are expected to do. And this is how quantum physics has helped me consolidate my faith in what Swami has been telling us. So just keep doing what Swami wants you to do, and you will reach your goal. That is what I can say from my college experiences, and they are now endorsed by my studies in quantum physics and spirituality. That's all I can say.
So, whether there was, I would see multiple questions which have come to me now. The
Okay.
first question is, what inspired you to compose the bhajan, Hey Anatha Natha Sai? And can you sing that bhajan for us?
Oh,
That is I think people will not leave you without you singing this bhajan.
okay. Inspired in the sense, in my actually, what has been told in the introduction, I have composed many devotional songs, but bhajans wise, I have composed only these two bhajans, Nandanandana and Hey Anathanath Sai. Uh, that it was the time when I was in the final year of my BSc, 1984. And that time, all those singers who we used to sing was Hirak was there, then Lakshmi Narayan Kote was there, Sonam was also there, and uh, so V Kumar was there, S Kumar was also there, Arun Tiwari was there, and all of us got into the auditorium once, and we said we'll record some bhajans. And that time there was, there used to be Walkman F2, Sony F2 Walkman, and they used to be, I mean, they were supposed to be the best recording devices during those times. So we had one F2 Sony Walkman, and on that Walkman we decided to record some songs. And when we decided to record some songs, that time this song came to my mind, and the tune came to my mind first. Of course, as I said, as is the fact, uh, all the uh, all the elements of the tune cannot be said 100% original. You keep listening to n number of songs, and they keep registering in your conscious and subconscious mind, and whatever must have appealed to you, a part of it always uh, uh, creeps in your composition. So I will not say this is 100%, any composition is 100% original composition, but uh, there is certainly something attractive and something appealing in this composition that I can definitely say. Though I did not intend to make it appealing, it just appealed, and that song, I was contemplating on that tune and words for a day or two. And by the time we decided to record, that song was ready. Lakshmi Narayan Kote recorded his masterpiece Anupama Sundara and I recorded this song for the first time. So, okay, I'll just try to sing. हे अनाथ नाथ साई तुम हो अंतर्यामी तुम हो मेरे भगवान तुम हो मेरे भगवान दिन दुख भंजन सहारा दो मुझे दिन दुख भंजन सहारा दो मुझे ओ मेरे साईं भगवान ओ मेरे साईं भगवान हृदय मंदिर में आओ साईं मेरे हृदय मंदिर में आओ साईं मेरे दीजो कृपा वरदान तुम हो मेरे भगवान तुम हो मेरे भगवान साईं
Thank you. That was wonderful, brother. The next question that we have here is: does Swami's grace wipe out our karmas? That is, so how do we gain Swami's grace?
See, here, I would like to state some scientific facts or scientific input. Scientific in the sense, the spiritual science of India, which is Vedas, and from Vedas, some other streams also have come out. Even the Kashmiri Shaivism has its, some Vedic roots are seen in Kashmiri Shaivism also. From all that spiritual science, if we see, the law of karma prevails. So if you have done some bad karmas in your past births, and if you are now required to pay off those karmic debts, then there is no shortcut to it. And in the in God's list of acts, God performs 5 types of acts. He creates, that is Utpatti. He maintains Sthiti. He destroys what is not desirable for us, that is Laya. And the next 2 acts are acts. One is act of justice and one is an act of grace. Now, justice is the karmic law. So God is impartial to you while giving you the fruit of your action. But if you want to relieve yourself of the undesirable karmic debts, then what must happen is at the first level. Why I'm saying first level is I'll explain it later. At the first level, if you enter into a deal, I'm saying the first level is a deal with God. God, as an act of justice, I know that I am required to go through this undesirable experience. Maybe a health issue like a cancer, or maybe a business loss, or whatever. And as a justice, suppose I know that now, yes, I have to face this cancer and whatever might happen, there is no other way to it. But if you tell Lord, Lord, please be gracious, and as a deal, just remember, because this is the first level, which makes your understanding easier. If you enter into a deal and you tell God, God, please grace me, please give me grace marks and relieve me of my cancer, and I will do what you want. Okay. So God considers that, and God goes out of his justice mode and he graces you. Provided that what you have promised is now you will do what he wants you to do. And suppose he wants you to do Narayan Seva, for example, again, just think on why does he want you to do Narayan Seva? Is he going to get anything from that? See, once you start thinking, is he going to get anything out of that Narayan Seva? That deal aspect dissolves. It's not a deal. He always wants you to get moksha, and he knows from what act you will go and reach the moksha. So he insists that you do what I want you to do, then I will do what you want me to do for you. So he surpasses that karmic debt process. He surpasses that justice phase and he goes into that grace phase. And as we have seen through his miracles, he is all powerful. He can do anything he wants. It's just that he has to decide to do that. And to decide what is to be done is entirely his freedom. It is entirely his decision, his choice, his freedom. It is the strength of your prayer and your promise that you will do what he wants you to do. That strength of that thought will bring you grace.
Thank you, brother, for this wonderful thing. Uh, one more question which has come up is, any tips Swami mentioned to you as a music boy? I think so. Swami has his music boy is very dear and near. Any
Yeah,
tips which Swami mentioned to you during
yeah.
this?
Uh, so after my graduation, when Swami called me for an interview, because actually after my graduation, I wanted to continue for MSc, and I had already submitted my application for MSc Mathematics. And Swami called me for an interview. And Swami asked me to go to Pune and Pune or Mumbai. And he said, do your MBA either in Pune or Mumbai. Later on, we'll see. If you want to come back, by that time, I'll also start MBA here. You can join as a lecturer and all that. And then I asked about music. Swami, after I go to for MBA, what I want to learn music also. So Swami said one thing. स्वामी का डिसिप्लिन फॉलो करो, नहीं तो एमबीए भी नहीं, म्यूजिक भी नहीं. So I think this is the one simple instruction Swami has given. You follow his discipline, and otherwise nothing. I mean, your music also will go to dogs, and MBA will also go to dogs.
Got it, brother. And just one last question. I think this would have come to you on multiple forums and occasions also. Post 2011,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How is it that you are managing without physical presence, especially when you are so close to the physical presence of Bhagwan?
Yeah. Physical presence with see, basically, uh, the very thought that Swami is not here physically, that itself is so disturbing. And especially if you are a weak-minded person, then you feel as if you have lost all the support uh, for your life itself. You might feel as if you have lost the life support. But that is the point, that is the time when I started studying this quantum physics and spirituality. That was for my own strength also. I just wanted to know if the divinity exists, then it must exist in totality. Just because Swami has left his physical body, it should not affect. Ideally, it should not affect you. And that was the thought with which I started studying. And if you look at the avatar, the avatar mechanism, in fact, this is one of the rarest cases, and I think this is the first case which I have come. There are three avatars which Swami has declared. Shirdi Sai, Parthi Sai, and Prem Sai. So never before you have encountered or come across such a series of avatars. And the very fact that Swami has declared the next avatar, that means the avatar in the physical form is the need of the universe. And once, if it is the need of the universe, the physical form, if the physical form is the need of the universe, then the laws which are binding the physical form, they are also going to exist. So you must broaden your spectrum of thought to the physical forms and the laws governing the physical form. If the physical form comes as an avatara, if avatara manifests as a physical form, then he follows all the physical norms also. Otherwise, why should he get worried when we lost our sense of time in the Bangalore city? And that was not even 10 o'clock in the night. It was just 6 o'clock. And so why should he get worried? Because he has decided to bind himself with the physical laws of the universe. So when he has decided to bind himself with the physical laws of universe, then leaving this particular physical form comes just as a natural extension of expression of those physical laws. And that is how I learned and I developed my thought process. And I am very much convinced that this thought process is in tune with all what the Vedas are saying, all the Upanishads are saying. So when I am confirmed that this is in tune with all the Vedas and Upanishads, I am now comfortable without the physical form, and I'm very much. I mean, we all must be confident, and because Swami has announced his third avatara, so we must be confident about that avatara. By this time, as far as my knowledge and my information goes, is already taken that avatara, is already in this universe. But I don't know. I'm not. I cannot be very sure, and I cannot give it in stamp paper. But whatever studies I have done and whatever interactions I have done with all these concerned so-called intellectuals of Vedas and Upanishads, uh, the physical form is a phase. And if you learn to be comfortable with that phase, and if you expand your own awareness and your own knowledge norms beyond the physical norms, then you should be comfortable and be confident and be sure that he has announced the third avatar and he's already must be there, and the third avatara is going to manifest and express itself.
Any experiences post the Mahasamadhi which you would have, brother? Any experiences?
Experiences in dreams, of course. In dreams, he has been coming, and in fact, uh, some future events which are yet to occur, he has come and expressed those events in my dreams. Those experiences I have definitely had, but sharing experiences of dreams, people listening to those experiences, I don't know, maybe they are sometimes uh, conditioned in a particular way. But certainly, there are experiences that he has come into my dreams and mentioned such events which are yet to occur, and then they have happened in that fashion.
Just one last question. I think one more has cropped up. If science says that the creation of the universe was accidental and
Yeah,
it's all about physics,
yeah.
then where does karma fall? I mean, what is the role of karma in such an arrangement?
That is the problem, na. If we accept the science version of creation, then morality has no way, no role in it. See, if it is by accident, then there is no base for past birth and future births. Then if you are confined only to this birth and that is also by chance, then you do whatever you want. How is it going to make a difference? You can do n number of, if you have power and wealth, you can just thrash people under your feet and do anything. Any number of any kind of injustice, even if you do, it has no base. You can do anything and nothing will happen to you. See, we often think about politicians and we often think, what kind of rubbish acts they are performing, and still they are enjoying a lot of power and a lot of wealth and they're enjoying so much. So we always get this confusing questions. So this is a problematic situation. Even mentally, many people are confused and worried about what is all this and whether all this has a meaning or not. But the fact is, the creation is not by accident. creation is by purpose. That purpose is samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. And that is being now indicated by experiments in quantum physics. So quantum physics, like miracles of Swami, it is one way through which you can consolidate your faith. Yes, this creation is by Swami's will, and Swami has a definite purpose behind this creation, and we must understand the purpose. And if we don't understand the person, just follow. If we don't understand the purpose, just follow what he says. This is his miraculous experiences are a way to consolidate our faith in him. I have additionally tried to consolidate my faith by studying quantum physics, because it is pointing out towards the creator.
Thank you once again, brother. On behalf of entire audience today and whoever at, thank you once again for this sharing such wonderful thoughts with us.
It's my privilege and pleasure. And again, my most humble koti koti pranams at the lotus feet of our Lord for giving me this opportunity, and a very, very big sairam to all of us.
Thank you. We would like to end today's session with Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu.
Yeah.
Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.
Jai.
Sairam.
Sairam.